kids' single biggest complaint is my parents won't listen to me. Guess what? The complaint from you, my child won't talk to me. What's going on? That's what I want to help you figure out in this video. My name is Yulia. I'm an executive function coach, and I help families create better systems for getting along and getting stuff done. If you are trying to change your child's behavior or help them build executive functioning skills, the ability to get stuff done, what's going to happen is you're going to be met with opposition and defiance. So if all this stuff that you've tried in the past, if consequences and rewards and stickers and all that stuff, if that hasn't worked for you, that's because there is a fundamental disconnect between your child and you. And the best way to get through this and create a collaborative solution to these problems is to get to know your child intimately and deeply and do it without a sense of judgment. When kids tell me that their parents won't listen to them, it's because if they do try to communicate something, the parents are so hung up with trying to mold your child into what is acceptable to you or who you think they should be, that you actually don't have enough space and capacity to listen enough to understand where your child is coming from. So parents, you know, the moment your child is born, they are their own person with their own beliefs, with their own agenda, with their own drives. And those internal drives, those motivations are what is helping them to navigate. So no amount of trying to control or exert your power in order to mold their behavior is going to work to change them. And in fact, it's going to do the opposite of what you want. It's going to develop such a wall between you that they're not going to come to you and allow themselves to be influenced by you. Therefore, your life's worth of experience is lost because you cannot influence your child. And so what happens is you develop this intense fear and you start acting from that fear and start exerting power, and you get more and more and more and more disconnected. So parents, I want to help you trade that power for influence. Trade control for collaboration. And before we can ever get to collaboration, we have to get to a point where the relationship feels safe, feels comforting, and there's no shortcut. There's no easy way around it, parents. You are going to have to do two things. First thing is stop and get to know yourself. What are your fears? What parts of your personality are creating opposition? What are your beliefs? And how are your beliefs being translated through your actions? Are you comfortable with yourself and who you are? And what are some of your goals? What are some of your dreams? What are your values? And are you behaving in a way that reflects your values, or are you impulsively reacting to your own emotions and modeling that to your child? Once you can become aware and confident in yourself and begin to act more on your values, the second part of this process is to deeply get to know your child and their beliefs and their values and what motivates them. You might be surprised because a lot of times, parents, you're interpreting your child's behavior as them being lazy or willful or that they don't care, when in fact, your child desperately wants to do well. They desperately want to get along and need your compassion, your empathy, and your guidance in order to help them navigate, especially if they struggle with executive function deficits. So figure out who you are and get comfortable with it. Figure out who your child is and get comfortable with it. The moment that you can accept yourself and your child exactly for how you are now, that's when paradoxically you can begin to experience positive change. If you're going to be stuck in your beliefs that your child is lazy and that they don't care and that they're going to fail, if you don't accept the possibility that they can do this and that they can learn these skills, if you are going to hold on to this idea that you can coerce and overpower your child in order to help them, or that any amount of consequences or rewards are going to steer their behavior, you're just going to be stuck in a very vicious cycle, and you're not going to get far, and your relationship is going to get further and further and further disconnected. So parents, step 1, get to know you. Figure out what your values are and whether your actions are aligned with those values. Step 2, get to know your child. What drives them? What do they love? What motivates them? Who do they look up to? What are they really, really amazing at? And what are their lagging skills? What are some of these underlying problems that are causing them to have patterns of dysfunction, and how can you come together and have the type of connection where you can solve your problems collaboratively? I'm going to include some resources below from Dr. Roz Green, who talks about the CPS, Collaborative and Proactive Solutions model, because this is the holy grail of how to help your child. There is no easy way. There's no shortcut. The process is long. It is difficult. It takes lots of trial and error, and you're going to have to be very comfortable being uncomfortable, right? So you have to develop a tolerance for frustration, a tolerance for discomfort, because the process of helping your child is messy and it takes a lot of trial and error. You cannot expect things to go smoothly. This stuff is hard, but it works if you work it. So get on a better path toward helping your child come to you and work together to help them, because they absolutely need your help. They need your lifetime of experience, and they need your guidance. You are their primary coach. You are their primary cheerleader. Help them to build the confidence and trust in themselves, and help them to feel understood and supported by you, and be on this journey together with them, so that when they're older, that they can have good enough executive function. That's all we can aim for, right? It's not going to be perfect, but it's good enough so that they can live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling to them, and they can ask for help and develop meaningful relationships with others, so that they can become interdependent on other people and create the type of relationships where they feel safe and comfortable asking for help, because we all need help. We all need to rely on others. So it's going to take a lot of your own executive function to manage and regulate your emotions. You're going to need to model what you expect, model the values that you expect your child to adopt, and be patient and know that it's going to be messy. They're going to mess up, but they don't need your judgment. They don't need power. They don't need more consequences. They need you to listen and understand them, and know that you are in this for the long haul. You don't expect them to all of a sudden wake up one day and be able to do this perfectly, right? It's going to take lots of work, and you're there with them to guide them. Hopefully this video was helpful to you. Hopefully it helps you shift your mindset a little bit so that you can apply all these other tools and techniques I talk about in my other videos. And I'm here to guide you along this journey. Please leave any comments below with any questions that you'd like me to address in future videos, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.